What is happening, y'all? Welcome on back. Let's continue.
So, part of Leviathan is inside you now, is it? Does it hurt?
No. Not anymore, anyway.
Good, because I still have need of your strength. If you want to know the rest, we should head to the Witten Hall.
Of course.
Look, Dad. Chiri's rock.
I'm gonna go see if there's a new blade that I can make real fast with the part that I got from that boss.
Bastard things.
Yeah, get stuck on stuff.
What is it you want?
I'd strike. If I can reinforce it? No reinforce. Let's see what it looks like.
The child.
Ooh, very skinny.
I don't think he's...
I'm not as big a fan of the skinny blades, to be honest. I like the thicker, I guess just greatsword, claymore, whatever you want to call it. I like the bigger sword look more.
To understand the spell which binds Walius, you must first know who we are, and what drove my forebears to commit such an atrocity. This tapestry is our story, the one that brought us here. After generations of wandering, my people sought refuge in northeastern Storm, some 170 years ago. But in exchange for our safety, the Gregorian Church demanded we renounce our faith, and branded us heretics when we could not.
To be exterminated, as a lesson to others.
And so was it chronicled in the Imperial histories, for anything less would have made the Church seem weak. Yet a handful survived. The few who did fled north and west, and in doing so discovered two things that would forever shape our fates. The first was an old legend, revealing how to make your very own Mothercrystal.
I've heard that one before.
Yes, yet it gave them new hope, however false. Our ancestors convinced themselves that they could recreate the divine if they could only find a strong enough heart. A living being capable of channeling torrents of ether. And the heavens provided.
A dominant Walius.
They'd stumbled across a nostrum in an ancient ruin, which they believed could provoke a sudden outpouring of a creature's ether. They meant to enrage his Eikon. Leviathan would have destroyed everything, had our people not made their second important discovery. A means to stop time itself.
Where did they find that? The Northerners had no such magics, or they would have used them.
When our ancestors first arrived, the land was uninhabited, save for an old witch who lived on the highest peak. Her body had been consumed by the curse, a cruel payment for her long years of service to the Northern Thanes. So desperate were they to prevent the fall of Drake's Eye, they'd forced her to devise a spell to stop time.
But Drake's eye did fall.
It did. When she finally perfected the necessary magicks, it was already too late. As punishment for her failure, the Thanes exiled her to this forsaken place to live out the few days she had left. Knowing her suffering, our ancestors cared for her as best they could, and in return, she gifted them her spell. That even though she should die, her legacy might live on. So armed with both the knowledge of the ancients and the secrets of time, our ancestors settled upon an ambitious plan. They would create a new Mothercrystal and enchant it that it might endure for all eternity. Thus would our people's wandering, our suffering, finally end, and prosperity visit us once more. And all it would require was the sacrifice of a single child. A small price to pay, or so they believed.
Another victim of man's blind reliance on the Mothercrystals. So we know the seal's source. How do we break it and restore the flow of time?
Do you recall the dome of light on top of the cliffs to the west? Inside lie the ruins of an old temple. It was there that the witch built the Vare, a conduit of sorts that channels her remaining aether into the surge. But it's been a long time since anyone set foot in the place. And now, there are others who claim it as their own.
Then we shall go prepared for a fight. That said, it may be best if one of us stays behind.
You think the village could be in danger?
We saw the ether flow from Wallius in all directions, but only encountered a single familiar. There will be more. And should even one make its way here, I doubt the walls could hold it back for long.
Then I shall stay. The Phoenix will see your people safe, tributary.
You have my thanks.
Very well. We should depart at once. I fear time may no longer be a luxury we can afford.
The Vare is not easy to find. We must first head north, and then west, deeper into the forest.
We must first pick up the
Sign
side
of the
quest.
child.
I can't.
Just try to breathe. That's it.
Is everything all right?
Ah, you're the outsider. I'm Fanit, healer by trade. And this is Talor, one of my patients. He took ill not long after you arrived.
Nothing too serious, I hope.
I hope so too,
But
this affliction, it's like nothing I've ever seen before. He complains of feeling chilled to the bone, but there's no fever to go with it. And my most powerful antalgic hasn't done a thing to ease the pain in his chest. I'm starting to wonder if his condition might require a different kind of treatment altogether. Shula said that you were here to help us. You couldn't help me, could you?
I'd be happy to. If I can.
You can, don't worry. All I need you to do is speak to Talor's son, Pavat, over at the forge, and ask if he knows what his father was up to before he came down sick. Something must have caused this, and I want to find out what. The trouble is, Talor's too weak to speak, and I can't leave his side for long. So while you talk to Pavat, I'll pay his wife word a quick visit, just in case she knows anything.
All right.
Oh, do you need something?
I do, though not from the forge. Fanit asked me to speak with you. She's looking into the cause of your father's illness and wondered if you could shed any light on the matter.
I see. Sorry. She shouldn't have dragged you into this.
It's no trouble, really. Tell me, did your father do anything out of the ordinary before he fell ill?
Not that I know of. But then I hardly see him. He's always out and about, like. Well, at least he was. Suppose he might have been a bit more fidgety than usual, but apart from that...
When you say out and about, where does he usually go?
Just round the village. Wanders over to Valisthea's place most days. He's a fisher who lives on the other side of the fount. They're old friends. Maybe he knows something I don't.
Maybe. I'll go and speak with him.
I'm like playing house in my brain right now. I'm like, what could he be sick with? And we'll pick both of these up as well.
Oh, I never should have let him go.
Oh!
Take me, what am I gonna do? You've got to help me. Shula said you were a force to be reckoned with. Are you?
Why do you ask?
Eh? Oh, sorry. I should explain. My name's Kitav. I'm worried about a friend of mine. He went into the forest and he hasn't come back. Would you help me find him?
I can try. Tell me what I need to know.
Of course. You know about the glamour our ancestors cast to keep this place hidden, right?
Shula told us about it, yes.
Right. So you know the cairns we use to maintain the spell? Well, it's me and my friend's job to maintain them. If it weren't for the likes of us, it would have faded years ago.
So your friend went into the forest to visit one of these cairns?
Aye, that's right. He said he was going down to Father's Fell. There are 2 cairns out that way, one by the banks of the Swift Run, and another near the Winged Wains, the, ships in the forest.
All right. How will I know this friend of yours?
His name's Nassef. He's about my height, but clean-shaven. If you could track him down and see that he's come to no harm, I'd be much obliged. I'll search the village, just in case anyone's seen him, and meet you back here.
Very well.
Sometimes I have the weirdest thoughts.
One cairn by the ships, another by the river.
I'm talking about, it's just like me, but clean shaven. I was like thinking about, I wonder if my kid will end up able to grow a beard like I can. Because on his mother's side, no one has a beard, but I have like a very full beard. Would be a shame if he can't.
I am. What gave me away?
Oh, I can smell it on you. The scent of the stables. And not just any stables. Something tells me you've never been one to ride half-starved birds with chine-gall and wet beak. If I had a guess, I'd say your bird eats only the finest greens and has her feathers groomed twice a day with a curl hairbrush.
Nothing but the best for my Ambrosia.
Ambrosia, eh? Pretty name. What's she like?
Well, she's tall and strong. And her feathers are as white as snow.
You're joking. You've got a white chocobo.
I have, yes. I suppose they are rather rare.
This I've got to see. Can you bring her here?
I would if I could, but I doubt Shula's skiff could hold her.
Me dad's got a boat. And he's ferried chocobos before. You could get him to bring her. It'd be perfect timing and all. He's preparing for a trip beyond the wall as we speak. I'm sure he'd help you if you asked.
He would. Well, I don't suppose it would hurt to have Ambrosia around. All right then. Where could I find your father?
He'll be in the storehouse on the other side of the brook. Tell him Manda sent you.
Let's go to the closest one.
And once everyone left me,
I don't know if I'm gonna get all these done this episode. Got a dude. Someone's here to. We're getting a bunch of windows replaced in the house, and someone came to measure them. And we're supposed to be here like 20 minutes from now, and he's like, "I'm here." I'm like, "Oh, you're gonna have to wait, bro." I said I'd be free at this time.
one of the outsiders, then?
I am. Shula invited me. Are you Manda's father?
I am. Got you running errands for her already, has she?
She's asked to see my chocobo, but I'd need your help and your boat to bring her here.
Or you could just say no. Honestly, that girl and her birds, she'll be growing feathers soon enough.
Well, truth be told, I didn't take the idea seriously at first. But thinking about it, it would make it easier to get around if I had Ambrosia here. Can you help?
Well, if you're sure that's what you want. The tributary says we're to treat you lot as we would each other. So, if you need me to ferry your bird over, then that's what I'll do. Still, they don't take the water easily. I'll need you to bring us a mimic gourd or two to keep her calm on the journey over.
And, where would I find one of those?
Oh, don't ask me. It's been years since I last brought a chocobo across the bay, and I'm told the world's changed a fair bit since then. Where do you usually get your stable supplies from?
Well, the man who made Ambrosia's tack lived in Martha's Rest, and if I remember correctly, he traded in chocobo feed too. So I suppose I'll go and ask him.
I'll be sailing over to Northreach soon to pick up some supplies. While I do that, you collect your bird and your gourd, and then meet me by the shore. Just don't take too long, all right?
Well, oh, there's another one to pick up. Let's see. Let's pick up that quest, and then I think I'll prioritize going to Martha's Rest and getting the chocobo.
If we pick too many of the flowers, there won't be enough.
My lord, may I speak? There is a matter with which I would beg your aid.
Of course, what is it?
Please, not so loud.
Something serious, then?
Yes. I think we might have company. I was passing by the low gate when I saw a figure moving among the trees up on the cloak. At first, I thought it must have been you or your brother, so I didn't say anything, but the more I think about it, the more certain I am that the figure looked familiar.
And you're sure it wasn't one of the other villagers?
Positive. I think it was someone from outside the wall who has found his way inside. Of course, it could just be my imagination playing tricks on me. I only caught a fleeting glimpse, and it might have been you or your brother. But if it is who I think it is, we cannot allow him to leave now that he knows we're here. Would you go and see? He won't try to hurt you, believe me. Given what lurks in the forest, the only one likely to get hurt is him.
Very well. Whether the man you saw is who you believe him to be or not, we need to know. It may yet be someone else entirely. Someone who means your people, or my people, harm.
Perhaps. Just promise me that if you do find someone up there...
Don't worry. I won't draw my sword unless I need to.
Thank you.
Yamila, this man you saw, might he be the customer you told me of?
I fear so.
The customer?
I'll explain later. Come on.
Okay, so we got a buttload of quests here. That one, we got that one. Well, since this one is still like just right in the village, let's just do it real fast. We'll talk to this person.
Greetings, stranger. What can I do for you?
Your name is Valisthea, is it not? Pavad tells me you're a friend of his father's, and that the two of you may have spent some time together prior to his illness.
His illness? Talor's never been ill a day in his life. I don't know why he'd start now.
Oh, Fanny doesn't know either. It was she who asked me to look into his recent behavior on the off chance it might explain how his condition arose.
Oh, I suppose there was something that struck me as a bit odd. He kept asking about the woods. Did you see anything strange on your way back from the shore? Are you certain? Do you swear? That kind of thing. I didn't, of course. But he wouldn't let it go. It was like he was expecting something to happen. It was just a matter of when. Not that I know what, but he never told me anyway.
Well, that certainly does sound unusual. And it might just be what Fannet is looking for. Thank you.
Don't mention it. Oh, and when you say Talor, wish him the best from me, eh?
Let's see what the healer makes of this.
This is going. I might not get my chocobo this episode.
I spoke with Werder, but she couldn't tell me anything. Did you have any better luck?
Nothing conclusive. But there was one thing. Valisthea, the fisherman, told me that Talor had taken a sudden interest in the forest of late. He kept asking him if he'd seen anything unusual there on his way back from the coast, but never let on what exactly he was expecting him to have seen.
The forest between here and the coast. Surely not. But then... I can't say for sure. But I think Talor's illness.
Oh, not the creepy tomberries.
Tomberries. You may have encountered them during your time here. The small, scaly beastmen.
And you think they may have caused Talor's illness?
I do. At least in a way. And if I'm right, it's no wonder the treatments I've been trying didn't work. Oh, I know it's a lot to ask, but would you go down into Father's Fell for me? There's an altar there. And if my fears are true, an offering upon it.
What is going on here?
Please. I'll explain everything when you return, but time flows fast. I beg you, make haste for Father's Fell and take the offering from the altar. Talor's life may depend on it.
Very well.
Alright, well... I'm not gonna have time to go out and do it. This has been a weird episode. Well, no, maybe. Hang on. Let's see. World map. Just...
I remember you. You're the one who saved Whiteheart. How's the old girl doing?
She's very well. Thank you.
Oh, don't thank me. You're the one who saved her. Anyway, what brings you to the rest today?
I was hoping to purchase a Mimit gourd. And I thought you might be able to tell me where I could find one.
Oh, reckon I could do better than that. Just so happens, I've got a whole carload of the blasted things. Not a buyer in sight.
Really?
Aye, you'd be doing me a favor taking a few off my hands before they turn to mush. But just be on the lookout for wild birds, eh? Don't want them chasing after you like they did me.
I will. And thank you.
Oh, you're very welcome. Any friend of Whiteheart is a friend of mine. And in times like these, friends have got to stick together.
We certainly do. Northreach, then. Wouldn't want to keep Anders' father waiting.
Warp. Warp. Warp.
And how might I help the garrison today?
Alright, well, we're gonna finish this in the next part. I feel like we haven't really accomplished anything this episode, but I don't want to keep that guy just sitting in my driveway for too long. To be fair, I did tell them I hate when companies do this. Like, when will you be free? I'm like, I can work with you at 2 p.m. And then guy shows up at like 1:30. I'm like, sorry, man. Like, that's not my fault. I told y'all too. Like, oh, they said you gotta be out by 3. Well, yes, but it doesn't take an hour to measure windows. Anyway, we've made it down to him. Let's wrap up. Sidequest Roundup is done for now. Next part, we will bang all these out, and then we'll get back on track. I'll catch y'all then.